Hey folks, can you hear me now? Am I audible? Okay, perfect. Sorry folks, I was just I don't know why that happened. Uh, so I'll continue taking the Q&As, and sorry about that. I've posted the link in the community so all of you can join. Okay, good to have a few of you. I think we lost a lot of the folks who couldn't join in, but hopefully others can join. Okay, let's look at what Garima is asking. I forgot even the last question that I was being answering. Okay, so Garima is asking, how is the job market scenario for product marketing roles? So I think product marketing roles are more competitive, right? I think product marketing roles, the the lesser technical I think the roles are, they're getting more competitive. So I would just say that if you're looking for product marketing roles, uh, the better way to get into those roles would be to like having done product marketing before. So if you're new to product marketing, it may be very difficult to crack. I would highly recommend, like, if you can, if you are in India right now, do a product marketing role already. And if you are in the US, try to do it in a startup who's offering these roles, and then transition. But product marketing roles are there in big tech, always has product marketing. So Amazon, Meta, Google, all of them have it. Like, but they're competitive. I think they're more competitive than product marketing roles. What I've seen, because they're very limited usually in number. So one product marketing manager would be working with like 4 5 other product managers. So okay, so Jayant is asking, any tips for tech PM internship search and interview prep? Did you take referrals while applying for internships? Could you please share your Apple interview search experience? Okay, I'll share my Apple experience. So the way, I think I've shared this also, Jayant, I'm not sure if you watched the previous webinar. I talked about how I basically wrote a cold email. The way that I did was basically apply for like just apply to reach out to people on LinkedIn by manually writing them email. So there was no automation. I would actually like write almost like 100 cold messages a day on LinkedIn, and a few of them actually replied. And one of them was a hiring manager at Apple, and they had not even listed the role. And they're like, "Yeah, I'm hiring for an intern actually. So would you be interested?" And they started the interview process. The thing is, I've seen that in big tech and other companies, right? Like if you reach out to the hiring manager and they start the process, it does pretty high chances of you getting that role. So if I were you, what I would do is I would try to find these hiring managers and start a coffee chat with them. And that's how I got my summer internship. I didn't, by the way, I had applied to the regular portal also, and nobody looked at that. It didn't help. But basically, I when I actually directly emailed them, that kind of like started the process, and it worked out for me. So that was a story of about the Apple interview search. And the portals were not working, the LinkedIn job alerts didn't help. I think the best kind of opportunities are those which are not listed, and you get in touch with the hiring manager. I think that's something that was super helpful. uh, Jay, answer question. How did you find these hiring managers list? I think there is no list, right? You have to. So today, then there was no list. You had to like actually go and like find these different uh, people on who are writing these hiring posts, because there was no automation and AI was not there where it is today. So today you can actually have a scraper that can look at all these people who are posting about these jobs. Uh, so that's the best way to get that list. So the next question is from Bhavya. Hi, Abhijay. I'm curious to know, like you mentioned earlier, that you got a job. So how did you manage to stay in the USA? Yeah, I think that was a question we were discussing. So the way you stop the 90-day timer, right? Like I think I mentioned in the LinkedIn post, number one, even if you have a job, like a job interview, you can be in the country, right? It's not necessary that you have to have a job. Even job interview can help you continue that, stop the timer. If you have a friend in the US who runs a startup, they can actually give you a letter that employs you, even like paid or unpaid for 20 hours. Like they'll just give you a letter that, hey, this person is working with me in this capacity, and that will stop that timer. That's people, a lot of people use it. Third is also your university has research intern positions. Get those roles. It will allow you to basically stop the timer and also make some stipend on the side. I think those are the two or three main ways that you can stop the timer. But the best way I would say is like reach out to a small startup and get a paid internship for like whatever amount they're ready to pay, and use that time to actually recruit for your actual job that you're looking. That's the best way, I would say. Um, so Virendra, you're asking how is the USA for core finance for CFA charter holder? I think so I don't have too much knowledge about how finance roles work, but I know that CFA is pretty valued here. So and the place that you should definitely look at is New York. New York is where all the finance roles are, and we have seen uh, that we'll definitely see that a lot. like like for finance, I think CFA people who hold CFA level 1, level 2, level 3 are getting good jobs in the US, but I don't know the details. But I know that they're very high paying jobs, on the top tier for MBA grads in the US. So it's a good chance for like to come to the US. And uh, Priyanka is asking current political scenario, your comments. So I think I also spoke about it in the last webinar. I think the idea is like those are things outside your control, right? Like what's happening with the political scenario. So I wouldn't bother too much about what's happening. I think, in my opinion, everything will like slowly die down, right? It's a temporary phase, I would say. And I think like in general, US cannot afford like losing out on its international community of people who bring so many jobs to add so much value to the economy and work on in all these companies. So I think it's very rare that international students will be barred from coming to the US. So I wouldn't worry too much. Um Ritik Datta is asking, I'm a data scientist working in Daimler and my goal is to get into big tech in US. What would be the best way to get there? So Ritik, I think the best way is ideally try to, so there are two ways. One is, and I think probably a better way in which you also save cost, is to get into one of these big tech companies in India, and then ask them to transfer you on an L1 visa. That allows you to stay, I think, from I don't know between 5 to 7 years in the US. It's You don't have to get into the hassle of all these like MBA and taking a loan and stuff. So I think that's the best way if your sole goal is just to get into big tech in the US. The second option, like a lot of people would follow, is to come for a master's here and get like a job after that master's, like do a summer internship in a big tech, and then hopefully convert that. So I think that path you'll have to take a big loan for that, and you'll also have to hope that things go in your favor, getting the internship and also converting it. So I think the first path would be a better bet if you're based currently in India and looking to get there. So Praveen is asking, is MBA from Harvard still relevant in 2025? I think that's a good question. I think so. This is how I think about it, right? Like if you think about people who like if you think of a typical consultant who works at McKinsey, Bain, BCG, right? I think what value they add is not as much now in terms of the content. Today, if you ask AI to do research on a particular industry and build a slide deck, it'll do a pretty good job, and they're only getting better. But the thing, the where these companies still stay relevant is because they give that stamp of approval. I think that is where how I see an MBA would still stay relevant. And people will be like, oh, this person went to an MBA at Stanford, so he definitely must be knowing what he talks about, and he can actually vet what the AI is saying, like and confirm the AI's output. I think that's where they stay relevant. That's number one. I think the second they stay relevant is in creating these network, right? If you think about the world moving more towards AI and agents, I think real relationships will become more and more valued. I think will people will start respecting in-person FaceTime a lot more than previously. So the fact that these big MBA programs help you build that network, which will stay of like professors and of industry practitioners, I think that's a big value add. So this is how I think about it. So I would say the Harvard MBA is still relevant even in 2025. So Angel is saying, I'm currently in grade 11. I want to apply. Financial issues are coming across the way. So Angel, I think so. Grade 11, it's very early to think about MBA if you're thinking about a US MBA because that needs 5 years of work experience. But it's very good that you're thinking about it for your future. I would worry about regarding financial issues. I don't know. I think watched the previous webinar. I talked about all the scholarship options that these universities give. So, like Harvard gives about almost 1 crore rupees in scholarship. So you have to only take a loan for the remaining 1 crore, which can be paid off, and it's low interest rate, about 5% usually if you take it from the university. So it can be paid off in your 2 3 years of working when you come here. So I would not worry about the financial issues. I don't think anybody should worry about financial issues being the concern, especially if you're applying to top business schools. Now, where it gets a little bit hazy is when the school is not in the top 5 6 schools. I think that becomes a little tricky on whether you should be uh, applying for those schools or not, because the loan is high and the job chances may not be the best. So, but if you're applying for like top 5 schools, I think you should not worry. Financial issue should not be a barrier. Take a loan in the US in general. I think that's a better strategy. So Ritik is asking, masters in US versus ISP, which is a better choice? I think it's not a function of as much of the market, right? I think it's a function of where you want to be. So if you want to be in the US, I think that's a very obvious choice to go for a master in the US. Versus if you want a career in India, then ISP is a better choice. It's a very personal thing. If your where your family is based, where do you want to grow up, where do you want to like have an impact? It's more a decision of that. One thing I can tell you is, if you do an MBA outside India, especially from a top college, and come back to India, you'll be valued a lot more. The reverse may not be true, right? So if you do an MBA and ISB and then try to come abroad, it may not be very well recognized. So I think a master's in the US gives you that international exposure, and the work experience that you get here, especially in the Silicon Valley. I think in terms of core tech, I think Silicon Valley is way ahead in terms of what it's being built in India today, right? So Silicon Valley is here, Palo Alto and Sunnyvale, and these all areas where we have different top tech companies. I think the research and cutting edge stuff is happening. So it depends, right? Also, like which field you want. It's a very personal question. Also, which field you want to get into. So for tech, for example, 100% US is better, but yeah, it depends on all those factors. So Priyanka is asking, okay, for non will non techies learn AI ML and US MBA? Is it going to work out? Maybe can you clarify your question, Priyanka, in the chat? I'm not sure what you're asking. Jayant is asking, given I'll be joining MBA next week, is PM prep quite time consuming? Might not be manageable. So I made a whole video on PM prep. Just watch that. I think PM prep should happen in like a month. Don't worry about it. Consulting, I think, will take more time, as far as I know, given there's like these different frameworks and stuff to follow. So my advice would be, don't worry too much about the PM prep. I think PM prep is about daily products that you see and how you'll make them better. It's very simple. Any resources for the prep you'd recommend? Yeah, I think the best. I don't. I think best source is definitely like watching YouTube videos on what people have gone through, and just practicing with a friend. I think those are the two best things. Yeah, Exponent is good. If you want to go start with Exponent, they exist. They have like good free videos. I don't think any, like, don't go for all these different school certifications. Yeah, like don't waste money on that. I don't think it's worth spending money. Will you do live with profiles like you did with someone? Oh yeah, so I had hosted a podcast earlier where I would call people from different backgrounds from Harvard, right? People who went to consulting and people who went to uh, big tech, finance. Yeah, I'm happy to. If Virendra, if you're interested, and if there's interest in the people here to meet people from Harvard from different backgrounds other than product, which I am talking about, I'm happy to bring them. So do it. Yeah. Uh, Priyanka is asking, in Reels told you still had 2 crore loan. Maybe I'm mistaken. Yes, that is correct. So I have a loan of, uh, I had to take, so Harvard MBA overall would cost you about 3 crore rupees. I got like 1 crore. So there's a 2 crore loan on me. That is correct. It is, so it's about, like, in dollars, you can see how much it is. It is about maybe $130,000, and maybe not exactly 2 crores, slightly lesser. But yeah, that's the kind of loan that you can expect. My in my specific case, it's about like 140,000 of loan. So it comes about 1.2, 1.3, not 2 crore necessarily. uh, Wasim is asking, what are the criteria Harvard uses to award scholarship? On what basis is a scholarship at Harvard awarded? Harvard scholarships are purely need based. So it's based on your income in the last 3 years. And if you're earning less, it's very good because you get more scholarship. Aditi is asking, how did you prepare for interviews, starting with online assessments for your tech interviews? Okay, so I think this is I think just check out the last video I made on how to like I talked about I didn't have a job 90 days after graduating from Harvard and how I managed that and how I prepared for it. So I made a full video on it. The in basically a sense was like looking at five main components and preparing for each of them using a framework which I've shared. Everything I've shared, please watch that. I think that'll be helpful. Um, can you suggest some good MBA consultants for USA and what are their approx fees? So I don't know if you know, consultants in US are charging in consultants in US charge a lot. They charge at least till this is like 4 years back. Some of the companies were charging like $20,000 for like five schools. $20,000 is about 16 lakhs. It's a lot of money for a consultant. Uh, I don't know. I didn't take any of those, so I don't know if it is worth paying that much. Good Indian consultants today are charging eight lakhs for five schools. So that's what people are paying right now. So if that is like, I would recommend one thing before like working with anybody, talk to them for 15 minutes. All of them offer almost free 15 minutes consulting and see how they are and if there's a good fit. Don't pay somebody without having a initial intro call with them. So Shraddhanjali says, "Hey, I'm working in New York City. I have to transition from business analyst to PM. How do you think my job strategy should be? Also, you do one-to-one sessions to guide." Uh, so I think I would say that the way to transition from business analyst to PM, and especially if you have AI expertise, would be to like look at everyday tools around you and think about what an AI PM thinks, right? So I think a lot of the jobs from regular PM will shrink, and what will remain or what will grow bigger is AI PM jobs. Basically, PMs who know AI. So the fact that you have AI expertise is very good. You should try to think about building tools like which are everyday products, which you can showcase your product thinking, and then start reaching out to startups. I think that would be a good strategy. We can chat about one-to-one sessions. I usually am very limited on the one-to-one sessions given the time, but we can chat if I can find some time. So just write to me on LinkedIn, or if in the Aspire community, you can also DM me. Okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, let's wrap up, folks, in like maybe 2 or 3 more minutes. I think we've answered a lot more questions, and I can do this another time as well. Angel is asking, the experience now required is 5 years and not 2 years for the MBA. So it's 2 years. ISB, you need 2 years of MBA. ISB, you need 2 years of work experience. I am 0 years of work experience, and US Business School's 5 years of work experience. Priyanka is asking, will non-tech people benefit from learning, doing 100%? I think will non-tech people benefit from learning AI? I think everybody will benefit from learning AI. It's even if you're in like consulting finance, you will people who are using AI will definitely grow faster in their careers and also not have lesser chance of being replaced. You want to show more productivity, and you should learn how to build agents to be more productive yourself. So it doesn't matter which field you are in. Everybody should learn it, I think. Manoj saying, "Sir, I'm from the tier three college from India." You don't have to call me sir, first of all, Manoj. But I'm trying to get job as APM role. Can you suggest some steps? So I think college doesn't matter that much. I don't think tier three or tier like I don't think of like colleges. Yeah, people define tiers. I don't think like especially in tech, people don't care where you come from. They see what value you add. So I would highly recommend, like, if you are wanting to get into PM, look at all the resources of preparing for a PM interview, but also start thinking about, if you were a PM, what kind of product you want to be a PM for, and what would be how do you think about launching a product, and so on and so forth. Start thinking about product before getting into product, and write that in your resume as a side project that you have been doing to get traction. Praveen is saying, do I need to get consultation help for applying Ivy League colleges from India? Because I heard people say our essays are not so catchy for administration, we lose it on competitive edge. So I don't think that is true. That's somebody just trying to sell you a high, like, don't worry about that, right? I think, like, my essay, which I wrote for my Harvard application, was written in the simplest English, no fancy words, and I went through, right? So please don't worry about like language. Write your authentic story, and don't pay these people huge money who are just trying to scare you that, oh, you have to write these things. So don't worry. Okay, I think okay, Garima has a question. Where do you see the PMM roles going, expanding, shrinking? It's similar to PM, right? PMM AI roles, people who are using AI in marketing will expand like crazy. Traditional PMM roles will go down. It's the same thing. It will happen in across field. It's not specific to just PM. Did your AI related projects help you with tech recruiting? Nakul is asking. Nakul, so no, I don't think I was not doing actually that time a lot of this AI stuff. That, and it was not very popular then. So basically indexed on my previous experience. But if I were job hunting now, I would definitely do that. Manoj is asking, please make a video on product manage how to become a product manager from fresher. I'll keep that in mind. And Jayant is asking roadmap to learn AI. I think the so don't try to go for any courses like I want to learn AI. I think follow Andre Karpathy. I don't know if you know him. He's the guy he was a co-founder of OpenAI as well. His videos are very good. You should watch those videos. I found them helpful, and that'll just he just talks about how to use AI tools, but then you can get into learning one by one. I think instead of having a roadmap, just watch one video and automatically that'll take you to the next video, and that's the best way to learn about AI. I think there's so much to learn. I wouldn't recommend one resource, but just watch YouTube videos. In fact, I also made a video on how agents are, like a 15-minute video. You can start with that. Uh, Okay, I think we have almost done the questions there. So thanks everyone for joining. I know it's been late in India. I know I'm based in San Francisco, so I set it up at this time. So if there are any pending questions, put them in the community chat and I'll answer them live, maybe in one of the future sessions. So thanks everyone for joining. Before going, please like this video if you found it helpful. And yeah, always would love to connect with you folks in the community and ask other questions. So thanks again for joining, and I'll see you folks in the next one.